an iPod or a DVD player, and of course you brought your power generator, a power inverter, and a supply of gasoline, and you traveled back in time to like 1860, and you showed somebody like a Avatar, or, well, let's say Toy Story, all right? And that's from like the late 90s, which is kind of old now. If you showed that to someone in 1860, they'd be like, burn the witch. It really would be a magic thing. And so many people, they stick in the Blu-ray disc or the DVD, and they know it works, but they have no idea how, because the nerds have really paved the way for this stuff. Anyhow, I'm going to scroll up in the chat because I like to pay attention to this stuff. Malris says, I'm not much of a nerd, so I would not be interesting to chat with. Well, that's presumptive. You know what? I like talking to even non-nerds about technology. It's fun to do it. Even if you're talking about like what bugs you about technology, it's really fun to talk to people. And that's one of the cool things about this show. I certainly get nerdy viewers and people who are tech savvy, but the fun thing is I'll get the people who aren't into that. And they're like, this Justin TV is driving me crazy tonight. I've had viewers, like, well, friends of mine, because who else would watch the show? And they're like, oh, how do I watch the show? And so I give them a link, kind of hoping that they won't watch the show because I'm kind of embarrassed. And they'll say, oh, I couldn't log in. There was a password. Or they'll just say I was locked out. And what I found out later is what they meant was to say get into the chat. Justin TV is like, hey, would you like to get an account? And it throws all that junk at you so they can register more users. Well, a lot of people are just turned off by that. It's like, what the? I have to set up an account. Okay, I'm out of here. I'm locked out. I can't interact with Mr. Truesdale. But, of course, you can view the show even if you don't chat and all that. So, anyhow, somebody mentioned Blazing Saddles. Was that a reference? It was probably something I was talking about. That's the weird thing about chat. If you don't pay attention to it, there will be a comment that is like very relevant at the time, but after the course of 30 seconds or 2 minutes, I forget what I was talking about, and then it's like, oh, what's that comment? Not really your fault, but mine for sort of not keeping up with it. I actually got banned from a chat room once because I made like a sarcastic joke, right? That was relevant, but what happened is the stream I was listening to, I was listening on my phone, and a call came in, and what I didn't know then, but I know now, is the stream will actually pause, even though it's a live stream, and it'll sort of buffer up and hold the stuff. And after the phone call, like a minute or two later, it'll go back to it was the Twit channel, right? Twit Live with Leo Laporte and all that. And so a couple minutes later, I go back, and I'm thinking I'm listening live, but I'm actually a little bit behind. And so I made a comment, which they thought was just like this evil joke insulting the host. But, in context, I think it would have made more sense. But it was a little late. So that's interesting how that latency works. One interesting thing is I was reading this one book where the guy was talking about, let's imagine mankind has gone out into the solar system on other planets. And he was talking about how you could have a reasonably normal conversation between us and the moon where there'd be a radio delay of a couple seconds. But once the signal goes out to Mars or Mercury and all that, there would be such a delay in the conversation, 5 minutes there, 5 minutes back, that you couldn't really have a conversation. And only in the close quarters of being near planet Earth could that happen. That'd be There was actually this one part where the guy was trying to defuse a bomb before, like, the other guys found out he was doing it, and he was taking advantage of that radio delay. That's a pretty cool thing. You know, it's always like we were talking about GPS satellites last week and how they actually take into account Einstein's theory because the satellites go around the center of the Earth a little bit faster than us. And because of that speed difference, there's actually like an Einsteinian time shift because of the speed they're going at. And some clever guys actually have come up with equations to figure that stuff out. Oh, we're talking about an old Polish tradition. Dingus Day is coming up, speaking of that. And when I first log in. Oh, I believe that's Doug who says he first logged in and saw an ad for DirecTV. And of course, I'm Allris. I never know how to pronounce usernames, so I do apologize if that's wrong. He says, I get rid of ads. That's right, man. Firefox with Ad Block Plus. Man, that's the way to go. Saves you a lot of aggravation. I mean, I love Chrome as a browser and stuff, but for various reasons, a lot of the plugins that I also love on Firefox don't really translate well to Chrome. So if I'm going to watch videos and stuff, I usually do it on Firefox with AdBlock Plus because it does a better job. So there you go. Anyhow, we're doing sort of a variety nerd night where, what the heck, I'll show you a video I made just for kicks, as long as my boss isn't watching. And, yeah, so here's what I'm going to do. I am going to just sort of take this video stream. Where is YAMB? Which is code for yet another MP3 box GUI. I'm going to try to... no, actually, you know what? I'll use MKV Toolnix GUI or something like that. So if you bear with me for a couple minutes, I'm actually going to convert the smaller version of this video that won't blow up my computer. So what I'm doing now is I'm pulling up MKV Merge GUI, graphic user interface, that is. Because on one file, I have the video stream, right? And on another file, I have the audio stream. And so I'm going to sort of put that all together without re-encoding. So there's a difference between just copying streams and re-encoding. So let's see if I can do this. All right, that should be the video stream. And this will be the audio. Ah, crap, I won't do that. I'll just add the wave audio. There we go, man. All right. Sorry about this, guys. Ah, crap. All right. I love that. It's like returned an error code of 0. Everything went fine. All right, well, that's good to know. And where'd my file go? No. Oh, I hate when this happens. You know, I hardly ever use QuickTime. The only reason I have it is because of iTunes. All right. Where's FFmpeg when I need it? Just a second, folks. I'm sure this makes for very interesting viewing. But if I get it to work, it will be cool. Oh, maybe this is a better size one? Yeah. Whatever. I better interact with people in the chat, so... Yeah, see that? See that? Yeah, one guy's like, oh, man, it's getting late. I'm gonna head off to bed. I don't blame you. It's no problem. But we'll get to it in a second. And also I'm being asked... Movie night. Are you not doing movie night anymore? Well, I'm not doing shows as often on sort of a temporary basis. And what's been happening is I've shifted over Nerd Night to Thursdays a lot of times because I can't handle a lot of shows at the moment. And hopefully that'll change within the coming weeks and months. But I haven't been doing movie night lately with the intention that maybe I'll shove it in on a Friday night or a Saturday night as time permits. So follow me on Twitter and I'll just do a quick shout out and say, hey, we're going to try out a movie night today on Friday. So I'll be doing that. That's a good question, though. I mean, that's sort of my fault for not keeping people current. That is really the problem about being out there on the internet. I gotta have FFmpeg around here. Oh, I know where it is. Because it's sort of like the once something's on the internet, it's always on the internet. And yeah, there we go. But it doesn't take long for things to just get horribly outdated. So I'm like, oh, the Truesdale show, it's Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and all that fun stuff. And it's kind of not really. I mean, it's pretty much been one day a week, and it's really hard to keep people updated. I mean, what I've been doing out of laziness, I guess, is just saying, hey, follow me on Twitter, and I'll let you know what's up with all this stuff. All right, anyhow, FFmpeg-I. And then I have the name of the file. A codec copy, V codec copy, 44. Uh-oh. Now let's see if it lets me do this. Oh no! Incorrect header parameters. Well, I guess there's a way to fix it. If you guys are brave enough to hang around, I know what I need to do now. Let's see. Get out our old friend Virtual Dub. And we have our streams list, and we add on this one. Put it on direct stream copy, so I don't have to re-encode. And we're going to save this as... All right. We're copying that. All right, so now we're going to bust a move here. And in real time, we're going to have to resize this bad boy. Just a second. Bilinear resize. All right, so that should get us a nice Truesdale Show video, Truesdale Show sized. We'll see if we can get that to work, and then we'll have some extra goodies. See, I guess it's not really, it's sort of a you had to be there kind of video where, now I have to find out where I put it. There's this one guy who's sort of over enthusiastic, over the top. And they always have these examples on the video where it's like, tighten up this with a wrench. And you always have the guy, as he's tightening it, he's like, yeah, he does like this head bob thing, like, oh yeah, that's tight right there. And there's sort of a play on that. So actually, oh, you know what? I could just play it back. And we'll see if this actually works. All right. So here goes. I don't know what'll happen. It could say, AVI Synth has returned an error. We'll find out. Ooh, scary. Hi, I'm Patrick. In our previous videos, we demonstrated how to install the advanced
Oh, his name's
DirecTV
Patrick, by the way.
system in an ideal suburban